Premier online or virtual for this year. Yesterday was such an amazing day. So many great comments. If you missed Lup's session in the afternoon, it made me want to be a teacher. Online or absolutely. Virtual for this year. So yesterday was such an amazing day.
All right, sorry.
There we go. So please jump back onto the agenda for yesterday. All the recorded sessions are on there. By far, probably that one has been one of my favorites, but there is a jam-packed day ahead, and we're so excited to have you all here.
All right, so once again, the focus of today is really to show you solutions that are used by real schools. So to start off, we have from Saheti, we're going to have Justin join us on stage. After that, link to stuff around Dell. After that, we're going to have Louise from Cannons Creek showing you some really powerful Google things. We then jump into solar. We've got Bergvliet High School on that. We've then got stuff on Cami from Rustenburg. And we actually end with some coding and robotics from a local and international school. And on top of that, we've got a whole pile of prizes.
So many prizes.
So many.
We are inundated with prizes. We seem our suppliers must love you guys, because right now we're struggling to get all the prizes out.
Yeah.
So on that, should we quickly hand out a prize? Or?
Just before we do that, Ashley Lawrence, if you're in the background, you can jump on. So yes, I think we can give away a prize. What are we going for? How about a wine basket?
Let's do a wine basket. Let's do it for the first person that said good morning this morning. So we are going with, hello, Ashley. Nice to see you back today.
Okay, first school.
First school.
Is Jeanette a school?
I hope Jeanette's a school.
Jeanette,
you better tell us if you're not a school.
Jeanette, a question. Do you drink wine in the chat bar? Please say yes or no. That's a bit of a funny one to ask. We'll see if that was you.
We won't tell your principal. If you are the principal, we'll keep it to ourselves.
Jeanette, if you are there, you can respond. Okay. While we're doing that, please say hello. On stage with us is Ashley Lawrence. So Ashley, this event is possible because of incredible sponsors that make it happen. And one of our key sponsors is from Sonicall. Ashley, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Loud and clear.
All right, Ashley, quick question. Give us one thought, one takeaway from yesterday, and why Sonicall is involved.
Well, takeaway from yesterday has to be, sorry, hang on a second. Can you hear me now? Yep, just swapping. This thing is flipping between my devices. Takeaway from yesterday, I think great sessions. Everyone, I loved the lady from Saints. Obviously, Mo did a great job because he's from Sonicall, but loved the passion, and it's about the learners. So as much as we think about the school, and from a corporate point of view, we want to defend the school and its reputation, the board and the owners and the federated schools. I think it's all about the learners. And very much yesterday, my takeaway was, guys, keep it real, keep it focused on the kids, our kids, specifically yours, mine, Ash, everyone's kids, really. So that was the takeaway. And why is Sonicall involved? Because we can protect children, because we can help the schools, because we do have solutions that are tried and tested over 30 years, and they're ready to go. So that's why we're involved, and we make a difference.
Brilliant.
You do. Yes.
Once again, if you want to reach out to the team at Sonicall, I know yesterday in the morning and afternoon, we talked about how important cybersecurity is. So if you are going, wait a second, I'm not sure if everything is all right, please get a free threat assessment report from Sonicall. The beauty of dealing with Ashley, he's got a whole pile of resellers. The beauty is Ashley can't tell you anything because they have to work through resellers, which means he'll come in and just give you advice. He'll come in, look at your school, do a threat assessment. They have worked with Rennie, Pridwin, multiple schools within the country and internationally. So if you are going, cybersecurity, we need help. If you're scared you're going to be hacked, if kids are sharing content they shouldn't be sharing, if your teachers are nervous about what is going to pop up on the screen.
Can we just say this is likely happening in everyone's school, so let's not be sensitive about it. But let's get ahead of it, yes.
Okay, so reach out to Ashley and his team. You can find them on the exhibitor booth. Just literally tag and say, hey guys, please connect, I need some help. All right, Mr. Lawrence, thank you. We love your support. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, guys.
Cool. Thanks, Ashley. All right. So we've already given away one prize, and I see Jeanette said, "Oh yes." So that's I'm very glad you like wine.
Jeanette.
So a big thank you from Toshiba for that prize. So if you're looking for copiers and solutions, I think that is fantastic. So we've got lots more prizes to give away during the course of the morning. We've got headsets, vouchers,
Wi-Fi extenders,
branded Volkskunde shoes. We're going to give away a pair.
Yes, drone clubs to be set up at your school for coding and robotics. I mean, you name it, it's coming, and they're so good. Okay. I want our school to win some of these, Pete.
All right, but that's enough from us. I think it is time that we bring on our first real school that's going to share some of the solutions they use.
So we're going to welcome Pam onto stage. Hi, Pam. Welcome back today. Good to see you.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
And there's Justin. Justin, you're not a new face to Schoolscape, an old friend, shall we say. So welcome back, Justin. Justin is from Saheti, and Dell is going to be engaging, or Pam is from Dell, and engaging just in a conversation around Intel solutions for schools. And so we're quite excited for this. Leading on to that, they're going to be chatting about AI from Intel for schools. So AI for youth, which is creating, I feel like, a whole new world for our kids and how they learn and how they experience life, which is very exciting. And we look forward to hearing. But I think we can jump off stage. And Pam, and Justin.
One last thing is Dell's got some cool prizes. So they've got some laptop bags. They've got a prize of a laptop bag, 2 times 32 gigabyte USB key rings.
Wi-Fi extenders.
So what we're going to ask is we're going to ask Pam to keep an eye on the comment section. The person that gives the coolest comment, the best question that is linked to what Pam, Justin, or on the AI conversation is going to win that. So be engaged, share your thoughts and ideas. Let's make this interactive. But over to you, Pam.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Ashley and team. Welcome, Justin. I'm happy to see you on our session today. Is the weather in Johannesburg treating you well?
No, it's pouring with rain at the moment, unfortunately.
Okay, so just a brief introduction of myself. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I am your Dell contact within the Dell organization for anything around education. The Dell priorities are to support schools, to help ensure successful implementation into a new hybrid workspace, advocate for learning technology, and develop professional learning plans to support either the educators or the students. And we're going to talk to Justin today because Saheti School brings quite a bit of interest in my space. And, you know, I want Justin to just give us some background on Saheti School itself. And we're then going to delve into the technology that Saheti Schools actually opted for and go into why they selected that technology. And today is going to show you that not every school has the same requirement. Every solution has to be customized. Certain students require higher spec technology or better processing power based on the applications or the courses or curriculum that applies to that student. So I'm going to hand it over to Justin. Justin, a brief introduction about yourself. We have 15 minutes, so we're going to try and cram up as much as we can, but today is purely a discussion. So quick description of Saheti School, yourself, and your challenges that you faced in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years that you're slowly trying to move on from.
Thanks, Pam. Thanks for Schoolscape for having me as well. My name is Justin Harper. I'm the ICT Manager at Saheti School. I've been employed at Saheti a little over 7 years, and I've taken the school from a basic IT infrastructure into an ICT hub of excellence. It has taken me and my team, I must say I've had a very good team over the last couple of years. We've taken a few years to build the infrastructure to what we have right now. And I think I'm actually quite proud of what we have to offer at Saheti for our ICT's perspective. Just a little bit about Saheti. Saheti School was established in 1974 by a group of founders under the leadership of the late advocate George Bezos. Its doors were open to all, welcoming widely diverse communities to share in its values-driven universal education. Today, our vibrant school ranks amongst the top independent schools in South Africa. That's just a little about Saheti and about myself. We, I think, started with basic infrastructure a good 4 or 5 years ago, with limited funding as schools always have. I think we've built quite a good ICT infrastructure. What I do recommend is you start planning early. We had a 18-month plan, which was a short-term goals. We then also had a 3-year and a 5-year plan. But I think any IT manager or ICT manager or CIO will tell you, in any field that you're in, education or business, ICT moves very quickly. And I think you need to adapt and enhance your strategy towards that goal. That is key. You need to keep reevaluating every 6 months to 12 months and adjust it. I think also getting buy-in from your parent body or governing body early on helps a lot. Once you get the parents or the governing body on board, those plans sort of go into motion fairly quickly. What I did in the beginning, because I came from corporate, I leveraged off a lot of other schools. We have a very good group of ICT leaders around the country. We've got a few groups going that we can chat about suppliers and quotes and what other schools have been doing. And the ICT managers I feel around the country, especially in schools, they're always willing to lend a hand or point you in the right direction.
That's good to hear, right? So you've made quite massive changes from an infrastructure perspective. How has that impacted the students' learning capabilities? Has this created a better workspace for your educators and your students?
I think yes and no. From a student point of view, our primary school, I must say, has been thriving. Only reason being is because we've got a very good educator on board. He's very passionate about what he does. And I think that has made the difference over the last 3 years, where he's driven the technology point of view, but also integrated it into every aspect of teaching. So he's taken technology, he's taken maths, he's taken art as well, and integrated that. We've given him sphero balls, and he's basically drawn something in the art classroom. But with that, the kids also learn about geometry and maths and stuff like that. So it's not just one-dimensional with him. He can integrate into multiple subjects. The same I can say
very
for
blended learning, very blended
yes.
learning. And of course, naturally, educators need to be on top of their game when you're dealing with students that are so advanced from a tech perspective. And that's something that we're going, Joao from Intel, the next speaker is going to slightly touch on how we integrate AI for learning into schools like Saheti, and specifically because of the products that you purchased, Justin. You actually purchased a product which is the Latitude 5320. What was the reason for buying a product like a Latitude? Was it application based that you selected a Latitude 5000 series from Dell?
We started, I think, in April last year with this whole project, and I think I've got quotes from every single supplier. The reason why we went with Dell, I think the main reason was to deliver first world technology in a blended learning approach. I think our aim at Saheti, especially for our laptop project for grade 9s and 10s, was to integrate our online facility, which is Microsoft Teams, and a blended learning with the aim of ensuring our pupils continue writing. So that's the biggest thing with teachers. Are they going to use the device every day in class? Are they going to be typing? That type of thing. So the Dell 5320 2-in-1 laptop, it ticks all the boxes. So the students get interactive pen, they get a sleeve, they get the bag. But the main thing that I was looking at was the after-sale support and the warranty from Dell. From an IT point of view, the things that tend to go wrong is, especially when you're rolling out to students, some staff as well. If there's staff on here, I do apologize. The breakage of laptops. So Dell has offered us a 5-year sort of a warranty. So we get 1 break fix a year. They've also then included a warranty for the battery, which is also key for me, for 5 years. So if anything goes wrong with the battery. But the main thing for me is because we're giving it to our students in grade 9 and 10 was the 5-year pro support warranty. So if a student leaves after 3 years and he's in, let's say, Cape Town, Bloemfontein, wherever he's studying, they can then log a call with Dell. Dell will come to them, fix their laptop at their premises, which is the nice thing.
Correct.
So we were looking at more
On-premise.
longevity on premises, yes. And I think a lot of the parents will only see the benefit of that once the kid leaves and go to varsity or goes off, and then there's an issue with the laptop and they don't know what to do. So the main thing that they can do is then leverage off Dell's pro support.
So there's longevity, right? Because these devices are not exactly your entry level cheapest devices on the planet, but there's value adds to it. You're getting 5-year pro support on site, on-premise repair. You're getting accidental damage, which I've been dealing with a school in Cape Town for quite a few years now, and we get about 15 accidental damages per year. Now, an accidental damage is like an insurance policy that we offer you as a user or a school, and with that you also getting an option of keeping your hard drive, but in the school environment that is not required. So the value add comes in from a support perspective, and that's something that we spoke around yesterday, the after sales support in an environment where you're dealing with students that, you know, as an adult, I'm still clumsy. I've got coffee next to my keyboard. A lot of things can happen in the day. And from a, that's critical for the audience to understand that it's not just about the sale of the device, it's the longevity of the device, whether that student can continue using that technology after grade 9, 10, 11, and 12. And the fact that we're offering a 5-year also plays a big role. Financing is always a challenge, Justin. And can you give the audience some guidance on how you approach the financing with Dell?
We looked at a number of options and a number of finance houses, and we settled on a model where the parents will pay the laptops off over a 32-month cycle. Reason being is because we wanted to keep the 9s and 10s in the same group in the payment cycle to make it easier for our finance department. But also the 10s would have left if we had it for 36 months, and we didn't want that. So it's over a 32-month cycle. We've passed the cost directly onto the parents because we bought in bulk upfront. We've got a very good discount from Dell, and we've passed that directly onto the parents with regards to the support and everything else. So the parents will then pay a small fee upfront as a down payment, and then they will pay it off monthly through our school app. And I think after 32 months, they then become the owners of the laptop. But we've also given the parents as a once-off option to pay the laptop off once off, and then they can then take ownership of the laptop in that way as well. So I think from a finance point of view, and I'm not a finance person, unfortunately, I just get the technical specs. I think we did quite well. The only thing I can recommend from a finance point of view is all the documentation that goes in the back end. There is quite a lot of terms and conditions and installment sale agreements and stuff that you need to look at. So I would really get somebody that's a professional, a lawyer or somebody like that to look and draft a contract for the parents like we did. And that'll make your life a lot easier.
That is excellent advice. Not all of us are finance gurus. And yes, these contracts can be complicating. However, Dell has reach with many finance houses that can be customized to your requirement within your school environment. And as Justin mentioned, some parents can afford to have an upfront value put forward for technology, and some have difficulties doing so and want that flexibility of a 30, 32-month or 36-month payment cycle. Justin, before we close, I just want you to tell me, how has it been? Has the implementation gone well? And are you happy? And do you foresee using Dell or future rollouts of Dell in your business?
I think one of the biggest concerns, and I think that's with all IT, whether you're business or education, is with the COVID pandemic. We ordered our machines in, I think, December or early January. With the COVID pandemic, it proved very problematic securing all the equipment in time. And that's just not from a laptop point of view. We also had to upgrade our Wi-Fi at the school, in the high school as well. I'm still waiting for some equipment to arrive from a Wi-Fi point of view and switching point of view due to the chip shortage. But I think with the help of Dell and the account manager keeping me up to date, we've managed to secure the laptops in time to release it at the end of the term. So my strongest suggestion would be that if you are going to go down this route, I think with also COVID coming to end, plan months in advance. And I think get your order in as soon as you can. I think the deal only comes through once you get the invoicing or the laptops arrive on premises. But like I said, if you can get this done in 6 months beforehand, rather do it that. And I think also the key factor that we looked at last year, we had to really evaluate our school's infrastructure in the high school. It's not easy taking on additional 200 devices. So we did a full assessment during our August winter break, and we've decided also then we needed to upgrade our infrastructure in our high school with, access point in per classroom. Look at future-proofing your Wi-Fi network to Wi-Fi 6. I think also one of the key stuff for us was to improve our backbone on our network with regards to 10 gig uplinks and then also our fiber link. So all of those things have come through very nicely now.
That's good.
It was a lot of work.
Yes,
but,
yes.
I think
what's key is planning, right? So you got a plan. The fortunate thing is that the chipset challenge is across the board. It's not just it's affecting the car industry as well. So planning is critical. Justin, thank you for your time today. It really is appreciated, and I see Ashley is ready to knock on my door.
We're only jumping on because we want to ask some questions. So Justin, please don't go anywhere.
No problem.
Quite a few people asked, you mentioned WhatsApp support groups. If there's an IT manager at a school listening in, can they reach out to you if they want to get onto those groups? How do they get on?
Sure. There's a Google group at the moment, and I think there's a WhatsApp group as well. So they're welcome to email me on my details. I think my profile's on the system. You can email me at jharper@saheti.co.za, and then we will make sure that the admin adds you to the Google group. There's about over 100 of us IT managers in the group. Very friendly and very, very, very helpful.
We love that kind of community here. One thing I want to ask is there was a great question that came from Nadia. And Nadia, she said quite a bit that she's from a rural, no-fee paying school. And they have a very low functioning ICT lab, she said, and she appreciates your step-by-step guide in it. What would the first step to develop the ICT center be? So if you have to give one answer, what is the first thing? Where do you begin? What would you say?
Can we bring on?
My main focus would be on your infrastructure and make sure that your infrastructure can support the devices. It's no good putting devices in your network and everybody's frustrated. They can't get online, they can't get Wi-Fi, they can't get internet. So I would start with a clear ICT plan on what your infrastructure would look like or what you would need in 18 months or 6 months at least to accomplish that before you get the devices. But a clear plan, I would get like a company in to do an assessment, and you'd need to identify which areas you would like to develop first in the 6 months or 18 months. I think that'll be key. Infrastructure. We took 3 years at Saheti, so it took me a very long time to get the infrastructure up.
Awesome.
So Ashley, Dell, to the audience, Dell offers assessments on school level. We are partners with Sonic Wall as well, so we can come in with a very consolidated approach from back-end infrastructure to endpoint.
Brilliant. So I think what I want to encourage on the back of what Pam's saying is that if you don't know where to start and you would like advice, this is no strings attached kind of very, very good advice. So I'd like you to encourage, click yes in the poll. Pam will reach out to you by email and you can set up some kind of an assessment, have them come and visit your school and start a plan, start somewhere. And I think that would be highly beneficial to any school. At the end of the day, you can go with Dell, you don't have to go with Dell, but Dell has incredible products. They also have financing solutions. So Dell has a financing institute. So it's really a full package. Right, let's move on. Justin, thank you so much. I'm going to greet you. And we would like to ask Joao to come on stage. Joao is from Intel, and Joao is really going to take a look now into very exciting AI for schools. So artificial intelligence for schools. I Googled that again, so I didn't get it wrong before he came on. But welcome, Joao. Nice to have you on stage.
Excellent. Hi, folks. The most common thing, you can see my screen, right? Building an AI-ready generation. We good? Okay, great. Thanks for having me, Pamila. Thanks for inviting me to talk a little bit about, sort of the next level of conversation. We've spoke about infrastructure in the school, devices, how do you access those devices. Justin, you'll be happy to know that the chip challenges around the world are looking much, much better. So lead times are looking much, much better. So I just want to take this moment to just sort of go to the next step, right? So once you've got this infrastructure, you've got the infrastructure. Then what next? What else can you add to really take benefits of this infrastructure? Now, if we look at trends around the world, right, there are 4 main technologies that are going to be driving the jobs of the future. That is IoT, cloud computing, 5G, which everyone knows is this big spectrum auction happening now in South Africa, and artificial intelligence. Now, when you look at artificial intelligence just on its own, it's really exceptionally important to understand that there is this vacuum of jobs that are going to become available. However, there is not enough students going that route in their studies to be able to fill up those jobs. So as Intel, when we looked at this, we said, what could we do as an organization to really have an impact in these students so that they go that route, right? So what is it? So it's a global AI readiness program for youth. So it typically focuses on high schools. Justin, I'd love to have this running at Saheti. The why, it's really empowering youth on AI AI skills in an inclusive way. And the how is the engaging hands-on modular learning journey based on non-technical and technical. Okay, I'm trying to change my slide. Great, so what's the program objective? It focuses on it's got 3 buckets. It's the deep understanding of AI, it's access and use of AI tool sets, and the ultimate, which is the Empower module, is you see students between the ages of 13 and 19 actually creating an artificial intelligence project. So they actually create an algorithm running through data sets, right? You may say, Intel processor company, why are you guys doing this? Very simple. Intel was born out of education and educators, right? And our purpose as an organization is to enrich the lives of every person on earth. Now, if you look at the transitioning to an AI-fueled world, Fortune 500 magazines, humans are underrated. And this is sort of the storyline that's becoming quite predominant in the marketplace. Now, if you look at the opportunities, or if you take a different lens and look at the opportunities that AI is going to bring, and you just focus on the bottom right? So today, with the explosion of artificial intelligence, right, and the access to data, by the way, AI, it's not a new technology. It was invented in 1955. However, the access to the data hasn't been really utilized. So today, when you look at organizations, only 4% of organizations around the world are actually implementing AI. And 46% have plans to implement, right? So when you start looking at this opportunity in the market for this next working generation, it's going to be immense. Now, the real future, or the disruption, when you look at Gartner reports, PwC's, Deloitte's, right? So 50% of jobs can be automated, right? 85 million job displacements, right? They're looking at between 20 and 2035. The growing, and then if you look at the opportunity on the right-hand side, right? There's 35% demand supply gap currently when looking at AI, right? There's inequality and there's a lack of diversity of students that are going that route, right? And a very, very important thing is to have an understanding of AI, which touches on the ethics and transparency of it. So under the umbrella of AI for future workforce, we create the umbrella program is digital readiness programs, and we've created 5 programs. One is AI for citizens, one's AI for youth, which is targeting high schools. One is AI for future workforce, which targets TVETs or vocational colleges. Then you have AI for current workforce. These are for students that have left, they have their diploma or they have their degree, but they want to come back and reskill them with new skill sets. And then we have AI for leaders. Today, we will be focusing on AI for youth, which is relevant to this audience. And this is the program that's focused at students in high school. And I don't have much time, so I'm really going quickly through this, right? So what is the objective? Is an understanding or deep understanding of what AI is. It's an access use of an AI tool set, and it's creating a physical AI solution, right? The program design, it's got 4 components. We've got the Intel content that we make available to schools. We have the standardized implementation. Typically, we run this program from Intel to governments, right? Which we are successfully doing this in South Africa. And with Dell, we have what we call a go-to-market, which is really aimed at your private or your fragmented market in private schools. Justin just now was talking about labs. There are different flavors of what is required in a lab. Obviously, when you're crunching data, you really need to be in a position to have a higher spec device so that it crunches quickly. And then there's the physical demonstration of the project, right? The learning journey, it's 4 stages. It's inspire, acquire, experience, and empower. The skill sets outmap. So like I said a little bit earlier on, you have the technical skills and the social skills. So really it's around, on the technical side, around the 3 main domains, which is statistical data, computer vision, and natural language processing. Typically what we've seen around the world is students and the trainers of these students that run these programs in their schools usually go for computer vision because that's sort of the sexy one, right? That's getting a camera to understand if you're looking sad or if you're looking happy. There are 2 versions. You have the full version, which is 176 hours of content, right? So that's the non-technical and the full technical. And then we have an express version, which is 32 hours. This one really focuses really on the non-technical portion, so you don't even need a lab to be able to run it, right? However, what we have seen and what we have noticed is that you have this pool of students that run through the express, and then there are others that want to carry on, and that's really the beauty. A couple of examples. So this is not a program that is in POC phase. This is being rolled out in already 13 countries around the world. The Germanys, the US's, the China's, South Korea. This was actually developed in South Korea for the POC in South Korea. Also being run in Singapore. We're looking at in Kenya, Ghana, and obviously we are kicking off here in South Africa already. But if you just take a step back, you look at, this is a project that came out of a girl in India when we ran the program there, which, by the way, this program is rolling out in 22,000 schools in India. This is a 15-year-old girl that actually created what she calls the happiness guru. So as we were in COVID, one of the things that students were really, looking at going through depression or trying to understand the new norm, right? And with a computer vision project, what she did is created the happiness guru, and this camera was analyzing how the students are feeling in the classroom, and it was automatically giving the teacher data. So student A could be looking sad or could be looking confused, and the teacher could quickly go and address the child. In actual fact, I'm done. Give me one more second.
Yeah, 30 seconds left. But I'm so engaged and loving what you are saying. But 30 seconds left.
Okay, 30 seconds. So the ultimate or the impact, right, is that this young student now wants to be an AI ethics lawyer, right? So this is the type of impact of the program. We've got various examples of what's happened around the world, but I don't want to talk too much. Excellent.
I'd like you to talk a bit more, but yes, we need to stay within our time constraints. Joao, thank you so much. Extremely, extremely interesting and exciting what's ahead, I think, for schools and how this impacts kids' learning. I just can imagine how, having little kids, I hope by the time they get to high school, this is some of the stuff that we're engaging with in our classrooms. Pam, any closing comments, thoughts from you? Questions to Joe quickly? We have about a minute. And,
yes. Joao and myself are going on a mass drive, firstly around Intel and Dell. We have identified a few schools. I've seen quite a bit of comments in the comment section and the chat. I will reach out to each of you individually. A lot of interest coming along, Joao, which is really great. This is what we wanted from a Dell perspective. And what's interesting is, back to Joao's point, we are driving an application based discussion and then coming up with the tech. So we actually trying to understand better what schools' needs are from an application perspective before we introduce technology. I see Carolyn has made a very valid comment here. What is important?
Is she our winner?
She's not only going to be our winner, she's so resolute.
She can't win. We need a school.
She can't win. Oh, okay. Well, you know, we also have Nadia Botha that has shown quite a bit of interest. She's looking for devices with financial solutions attached to that. So I think our winner is then Nadia Botha. She's actually quite interested in quite a few of the solutions that we spoke about today.
Well, that's great, because she's going to get a laptop bag,
Wi-Fi extender, some other goodies in there. Well done, Nadia. I think again to Dell, thank you so much for being here, being online and virtual with us. And we hope to see you back at physical events next year. But it's been so good to hear about very exciting things coming up ahead from Dell, be it collaborative or AI or VR. We know that you're at the cutting edge of it, and we know that you're making a plan for schools to have this amazing tech. So please, in the polls, if you would like that kind of assessment, high-level thinking of your school, connect with them and go visit their booth, connect with them at their booth, share your information. Otherwise, Pam, I know this is not the last time we'll see you, but goodbye, and we will, we'll be in touch.
Cool. All right. Next up, I'm quite excited for this one because the title of it caught me, and it is Learn How Cannons Creek Teachers Shifted from Sage on the Stage to Guide on the Side. So we're going to invite Louise on stage to break this down. There's Louise, brilliant. While we're doing that, while Louise is getting ready, we have a pair of branded heritage Volkswagen shoes to give away. I will show you my shoe after the session, but we're going to give that away at the end. All right, Louise, welcome on stage.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm assuming everyone can hear me okay. I'm just going to guess.
We can see you. We can see you perfectly. If you just Alt-Tab and turn your camera on, then we'll be able to see you and your slides.
Oh, thank you so much. Sorry, hold on. There we go.
Right,
camera's on. And can we see my presentation?
I can see student-centered learning. So you ready to go?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and especially in this time of load shedding where I'm actually at my husband's office now presenting to you because I can't trust the Wi-Fi at school during load shedding. But as mentioned, I'd like to talk to you today about our journey at Cannons Creek, the one we're on to become a more student-centered learning environment. I joined Cannons back in March of 2020, and we all know what happened next. COVID hit and we went into what felt like the first of many lockdowns. And I was very much thrown into the deep end. I was virtually assisting teachers that I had never met before, who overnight had to adapt their curriculum and change their teaching style to go online. I was very amazed by how everyone, without exception, stepped up to the plate. And I think the one thing lockdown did give us was that we developed fast the basic tech skills that we needed. I suppose in that necessity is the mother of all invention. But 2020 and 2021 were not pedagogy framed years. As teachers, I think that at the end of last year, we were tired. There was definitely in my own staff an audible sigh of relief at the end of last year as we left. I think everyone just went, oh, thank goodness that was over. And we had a very similar reaction to this when I asked, you know, everyone saw the need for change, but nobody wanted to do it. They were all just absolutely exhausted. My concern was that we were going to slip back into the old ways, and I needed to find a way of showing our students, our parents, and our teachers that the past 2 years were not indicative of what it was like to be a teacher at that time. This was an emergency, and now can we put some joy back into using EdTech and use it as a tool for learning? So as a staff, we decided to look, as I said in my title, how to shift our roles in the classroom. We wanted to see how the EdTech elements we were using could continue to be used to enhance teaching and learning. And so we entered the realms of the blended learning. Could we blend our approaches? Could we combine the best face-to-face learning practices with the best aspects of tech? And as the quote on your screen reads, could we turn the past 2 years of difficulties into an opportunity? So here I think it's important. I just want to stop everybody just for a second and highlight what blended learning is not. It is not a set curriculum, nor is it a finite program or a specific app. It's very simply a way that you connect effective pedagogy with tech integration. It's about taking the time and putting thought into the lessons we deliver, and that is its beauty, because it can involve very different delivery methods, teaching approaches, and learning styles. There's no set rule, but for me, what it is at its heart is that it is the technology being used to enhance, not lessen, the role of the teacher or the learners. So we started very simply this year by flipping our classroom. And for those of you who don't know, the flipped classroom is a learning strategy in which the traditional model is flipped on its head. So if I take a traditional 50-minute maths lesson in my primary school, in that 50 minutes, the first 15 to 20 would be dedicated to teacher input, instruction, and perhaps some copying of worked examples down from the board. They would get to practice some of the methodology, but then most of the work would be continued at home. In a flipped model, we changed that entirely. The lecture portion of the lesson, if you let me call it that, although we don't like to say we lecture, that would be delivered through some form of digital media. That could be done in the form of a recorded video that children could be watched at home. Maybe there would be a quick assessment using Google Forms or something like that that would feed instantly to the teacher. That means that when they come into class, we can get going and use get going on the higher order thinking skills, the application, the analyzing, the synthesizing. I always found it very strange how we, as the trained professionals, leave it for the parents at home to do the consolidation and the higher order thinking, because we don't have time for that in our classroom. And so with a flip model, we found that we've been able to maximize the time we spend in class. We're no longer waiting for kids to copy things down from a board. As I said, sage on the stage, excuse me, to guide on the side. So it has also helped to close many of those gaps in the concepts that were missed in the last couple of years because of rotational teaching in many of our feeder schools. So once we found that we had all of this time on our hands in the classroom, we've got the time, how do we now make sure that we can transform that time into quality learning? and we introduced more student-centered approaches. So one of them was hyperdocs. So a hyperdoc in its essence is a Google Doc or something alike in which all the components of a learning cycle are pulled together into that central doc. Within the single document, our kids are provided with hyperlinks to all the resources that they might need to complete that learning cycle. But a well-designed hyperdoc is not just a doc with links. It's not a digital worksheet. It is a mindset for effective pedagogy. It's something that is not always visible up front. Teachers have to design the learning experience. They plan for students to work through something maybe at their own pace, or maybe they give students more control over portions of the work. Some of that work will be done online, others offline. So again, we're achieving our blend. An important part is reflecting on learning. How are all the students needs being met? Is there time for small group instruction? Can I pull the students back for whole class discussions? These are decisions that make lessons very personal to the classrooms, of the teachers, the needs and the objectives. At Cannons, we found that the same hyperdoc lesson can be taught in very different ways in very different classrooms. So those are just two of examples. So flipping the classroom and using hyperdocs to try and move the teacher's role. I have had teachers that have given me comments such as, I feel like I have been able to clone myself. Don't worry anymore if I have students that have, through no fault of their own, needed to have extended leaves of absence, because I know that they have got a chance to catch up and I'm available for them when they walk into class. But there are some things we've learned so far that hopefully will help you on your journey. Firstly, start small. I can guarantee that, as I like to say, your first flip will flop. Please, as leaders of your school, encourage your staff to venture out of their comfort zone, but please be understanding when it all does crash down. We always tell the children that learning happens when they make mistakes, and I feel that we need to start giving ourselves that same authority. There were concerns at Cannons when we started doing the blended learning approach about classroom management and classroom behaviour, because now we were letting them not only use their devices far more at home, but far more in our classroom. That has been a cultural shift, and it does take time to develop. However, what I can say is the behaviour issues we had anticipated didn't actually come to fruition, because they were so engaged in their learning that we didn't need to be pulling them all the time and saying, you know, well, little Johnny was being bored because he was waiting for so-and-so to copy off the board. That wasn't happening in class. Staff buy-in and staff training are essential. I can't emphasize that enough. This is teacher intensive, this approach to get up and running, but it does actually make for happier teachers in the long run, because our staff have noticed how their time is being used more wisely for their pupils, and actually how they've got a better grasp on where their students' learning is. Please prioritize reliable student devices. For student-centered learning to happen, the devices need to be in hands of the kids, not the teachers per se. So the devices you have must be ones that you can trust to work effectively and that are suited for the classroom. And in our learning environment, and in my mind, nothing beats the Chromebook. As the administrator of the domain, the granular controls I can have on them, the durability, the battery life, I can't speak more highly of them. Yeah, so I really, I mean, in my classroom, you're not going to see any fancy tech in my hands. I've got a projector, maybe a monitor, and a teacher device. The kids are the ones that have all the devices. And then I would also say it is vital that you have an EdTech partner that you believe in and that can walk the path with you. They help you to achieve all of the 4 points I've lifted above, and that is paramount because we want to overcome any barrier to adoption, both on the students and parents side, but also on the teachers side. And in that, I can't say a big enough thank you to Cloud Ed, who have walked the path with us at Cannons. We're definitely not there yet. We've still got a way to go. But when you start seeing the engagement in your classroom, when you start seeing the tech being used in such an engaging way by the kids, I can honestly say I can't fault it. Yeah, so that's everything I wanted to say today. I hope that's giving you a taster.
Louise, that was amazing and so practical. I think what I love just how you systematically went through it at the end, kind of, and just said, this is what you do. And I think that's where we want school sharing. Those kind of real kind of practical steps. Also, I'm going to go check out HyperDocs. I'm quite excited.
I'm going to use it for business.
That's something new for me. What I also want to do is just invite Kemen from Cloud EDU on stage. You mentioned the importance of having the right partner alongside of you. So maybe Louise, just while Kevin's getting ready, like as you've said your experience of Cloud EDU has been amazing. Would you recommend them to other schools?
Oh, definitely. The gentlemen that work there have been, they support me in both the using of Chromebooks. I joined Cannons coming from 10 years at a Microsoft school. I'd never worked with Google, never worked with Chromebooks, but I am a total convert, I have to be honest with you. So I can highly recommend them in terms of not only the technical support, but the training, the ability to work with us and our staff. So really, really happy. They humour me quite a bit.
Louise, they even converted me to working with the Chromebook, so which is incredible. So no, amazing to hear. And I think Kevin's on now.
Yeah, Kevin, if you just want to, we've got a couple minutes left. If you would like to share, looking forward to hearing from you. Oh, Kevin, are you there? Kevin, we can't hear you at the moment. If you can just Alt-Tab and turn on your mic and your camera. You are still muted. If you Alt-Tab, go back to the screen.
There you go.
Can you hear us now, Kevin? Oh, Kevin, you're not coming through on audio. Guys, can you hear Kevin there? No. All right. Kevin, I'm sorry, we have lost you. While you are getting ready, I think what I would love to mention, we can't hear you.
There you go.
Try unmute now.
Okay.
There,
and can you see my presentation, which is much more important than being able to see me?
Your presentation has now disappeared.
Okay. The joys of the Hoover.
Okay, so Kevin, it has just muted you again. So you need to, okay, you muted. I don't know what's happening. I think you know what it is.
Try unmute him.
Okay, it seems I'm not allowed to share the screen and talk at the same time. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Maybe if you just want to talk us through, because I know you got an incredible event, and we'll see.
Well, hopefully that'll work. Are you guys, you're picking up now, right?
There we go. Now we can hear you.
Okay. Can you hear, see, and see my screen?
You did it. Well
Yay! Done. Technology, we love it. I hate this Hoover app, as you guys know. So sorry, I don't want to kill the great mood after Louise's fantastic presentation. It has been an honor to work with Cannons Creek now for, I think, 7 years. We've been, possibly 8 years we've been working with them. But the question we're often asked is, how do we get to that place? What do we do to get started? I'm the Director of Professional Development for Cloud Education Solutions, and we like to describe ourselves as a change management company. The IT takes a back seat. And one of the ways we do that is working with schools on their EdTech vision. We have an EdTech vision and strategy workshop. Now, why is that vision so important? If I'm planning a trip to Bloemfontein and I pack a beach umbrella and I pack beach towels and I pack sunscreen, well, okay, that might be needed. Obviously, I didn't really know my destination. So I didn't pack the right gear. So it's really important to understand your destination so you're able to put together the right program and planning for getting to that destination. So our EdTech Vision and Strategy workshop is designed to do that. We work with the school management team. We give them an understanding of what tech integrated teaching and learning could look like, help them develop that vision statement, identify what they need to make technology accessible to their teachers and students, and then we help them with a specific action plan, because there's no point in having a workshop if you don't come out of that with some goals and clear tasks to implement that. But another way to get this vision across, especially focusing on the teaching and learning side, is to get awareness. So we've been running EdTech Team Summits for a number of years, and last year we decided we were ready for face-to-face again. So this May 6th and 7th, we're having Innovate EDU at Parklands College. It's our rebranded conference with a bit of a broader theme. Some of you know Holly Clark. She's been here before. She's the author of the Microsoft Infused Classroom, the Google Infused Classroom, and the Chromebook Infused Classroom. And she's going to be presenting some ways into doing blended learning. Ken Shelton has been here 4 or 5 times. He's also going to be doing sessions on culturally responsive teaching environments and problem-based and design thinking. We've got some new people. Patrick McGrath from Ireland is coming to focus on maths in particular, especially maths for secondary as well as primary. And Alan Antoine is the director of the Teacher Development Center at Rice University, focusing on STEAM subjects. He's doing off-the-wall teaching, which is actually a maths workshop, computational thinking, and inquiry-based STEM. And then we even have a robotics strand at this conference, because we are trying to broaden it beyond the usual technology subjects, even if you're not using Lego. Stuart Session, he's from the UK. He's a Lego Academy education trainer, and he was referred to us by Lego. He's going to be presenting both a session for primary teachers and a session for secondary teachers. So these are going to be 4 2.5-hour workshops over 2 days with 10 amazing, I'm waiting to get my 10th confirmation, 10 amazing international thought leaders in STEM subjects and educational technology from England, from Scotland, from Ireland, so I should say the UK and Ireland, as well as the United States and Canada. And we are excited to be seeing everybody face to face. Those of you who are in the chat, if you've been to the conference before, please, I'm sure you guys can recommend it even better than I can. This is really the best way to give your teachers some insights into what's possible, because we often don't know what we don't know. And we know these summits have been transformational for schools over the last 10 years that they've been running. If you'd like more information, feel free to email us at info@cloudedu.coza. I'd be happy to set up a 15 or 30-minute free consultation just to get a sense of what your school is doing and how we might be able to help you with your journey. So all you need to do is email info, and then I'll send you a link to book me for that free consultation. We love working with schools. That's why we are in business. We're a group of educators who want to transform education in Southern Africa. So we look forward to getting in touch. Thank you, Peter, for your time.
All right, Kevin, thank you so much. That's like looking at your event, you know, running events ourselves, every now and again a cool event comes along, and yours is one of those. So I think schools, please check that out. We can also highly recommend, we've had a long relationship with the Cloud EDU team, and they are passionate. As Kevin says, they're passionate about education. So reach out to Kevin. Your other option is on the polls tab. Yeah. If you go onto the polls tab, there is a poll there that says, would you like Cloud EDU to assist you in your Google, G Suite, Chromebook, etc.? What you can do is just go into that, say yes. It then allows us to share your details with them so they can connect with you and set up that 15-minute appointment. I can also say to you, do a 15, if you're sitting on the edge going, should we meet, should we not meet, do a 15-minute meeting with them. They are very upfront. And the thing I think I love about them is they'll tell you quickly if they can help you or not. And generally they can always help you. So Kevin, thank you so much.
You,
we
Peter.
are going to drop you off. But also just on that, If you are in Joburg and would like to attend our event in person in Joburg, the Cloud EDU team is actually going to be there, and you can still register. So we've got about 50 spaces left. We'll share a link so you can meet with
We'd love to chat with you in person in Joburg.
Face to face. Awesome.
Cool.
Thank
All right.
Awesome.
Next up, we are going from devices, we're going to Google, and now we completely going left field, but going to solar. And I think one of the things we've picked up from our side is power. I know we've got load shedding multiple times today.
I feel like Eskom did the promotion for Sun Exchange, yeah?
Yeah, I think we're on level 36 today. So if you are sitting there looking at your power going, we need more reliable power, these are the experts. So first up, we're going to show a session from Stephen Price from Bergvliet. He's going to share for about 7 minutes. And then we're going to bring on Abe, who has helped multiple schools. I think literally like 20 schools
all over the world
from Sun Exchange. So let's check out what Stephen has to say, and then we'll move on to Abe.
Hello folks, my name is Stephen Price and I'm the principal of Bergvliet High School here in the Western Cape in Cape Town. I've been asked to chat to you about the Sun Exchange project, which we have
Sorry guys, we're just pressing play again. We just want to make sure the audio is coming through correctly.
Hello folks, my name is Stephen Price and I'm the principal of Bergvliet High School here in the Western Cape in Cape Town. I've been asked to chat to you about the Sun Exchange project, which we have embarked on a year or so ago, and just to tell you a little bit about how much, what the benefit has been and what our experience of the Sun Exchange solar powered program was all about. So, a very unique model, and a model that initially we were a little bit unsure of. However, once all our questions were answered, the consultant came around, we had a really good question and answer session, at least over 2 governing body meetings. And the governing body definitely approved this project. And what they liked about it was that it didn't cost us any money. That was one of the big factors. We wanted the solar power station. We'd been thinking about something ourselves for a couple of years. But to be honest, it was out of our price range. Along came Sun Exchange and put a model in place that said they would put a 2 million rand solar power station on our school roof. And that would be crowd-funded from funders from around the world and locally here in South Africa. That sounded good to be true, but very quickly we realized that that model was working already, and that being one of the first schools to embrace the idea would be a good thing. And the other benefit, we discovered that we didn't have to do anything. Sun Exchange came in, they would run the entire project, they would install it, they would do their tests up front on how much electricity we were using, so they knew exactly what size power station to put on the system and at the school, and we left it to them. And quite honestly, it was really nothing that we had to do. And then it was a case of installation, and the whole installation process happened very efficiently, very effectively, did not cause huge disruption to the school. Obviously, being on the roof and with some classrooms below, there were a few issues, but to be honest, that was managed. They worked very nicely in the afternoons and didn't disturb much during the day and over the weekends. So our parents were encouraged to invest in the project, so we could invest and buy the solar cells ourselves, and it created quite a lot of interest. And before we could even blink, once the project was launched, literally within hours, 4 or 5 hours, we were sold out of the panels, and many of our parents were unable to buy because we got investors from all over the world. I was looking at some data the other day. We had, I think, 220, 200 odd investors from about 40 odd countries around the world. So that gave us a huge impact. And it was really great to realize that Bergvliet was part of a global solution to climate change, and we were doing our bit. Often when we think of these sorts of huge social and issues like climate change and global warming, one feels a little bit helpless about what you can do. And this program gave us, we felt that we were doing our bit, and that gave us a good sense of satisfaction. I think before I go into why we went into this, let me say something, that the whole process was a very simple process. As soon as we made a decision to go with this route, we literally sat back and it all happened. Connected us up to the system, put a very lovely monitor into the passages where it showed you the generation of electricity, how much we were using, and it's situated right in between our science classes, so our science classes can go out there and analyze and record all the electricity usage and how much we're selling to the city, and it becomes a whole math literacy exercise, a whole science exercise, analyzing and things. So it definitely slotted into our curriculum as well, which was a big benefit. The maintenance of this solar power station is great and is sorted by Sun Exchange. So what are the three main reasons? And I'm just going to put those out very quickly to you. Number one, obviously, climate leadership. We felt that Bergvliet, as a green school, we had a huge recycling program, and to move into solar power and saving, moving into a sustainable energy source was a no-brainer. And so that was our one reason. The second one was obviously for practical and financial reasons. It has saved us at this stage over 50,000 rands worth of electricity. That money has been used for other projects within the school, and that's a huge benefit. And we really, that's a no-brainer as well. And then finally, and I've just mentioned that around the curriculum, it created learning opportunities for learners. They could see real life stuff happening in the corridor, electricity being generated. That meant math literacy, science, tourism, and all those sort of subjects, business studies, could link into that and see how it affects tariffs and rates and so on. And finally, the fact that our electricity production in this country is a little sketchy at times, to put it mildly, we feel that with the electricity rates, prices going up as they are, the savings that we are going to generate over the next 20 years are going to be significantly higher than the 50,000 rand that we've already made. So that in a nutshell is why we went into the project, what benefits we see, and we really appreciate the opportunity to tell you about it, and hopefully you can do that as well in your schools. Thank you so much.
Hello? I assume everyone can hear me because I can see someone say can hear Abraham.
All right, sorry, we've had some technical difficulties. Abe, can you hear us now?
Pete's having some technical difficulties talking too.
Thanks so much.
There we go, back up and running.
We are back up. Sorry about that. I think the battery literally died on the mic. The good news is we're back to parrot system, which is brilliant. Abe, that school that we've just seen is someone that worked with you. Maybe if you just want to introduce yourself and say where you're from, the organization.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Abe Cambridge. I'm from Sun Exchange. I'm from the UK, but I've been living in Cape Town since 2014. And I'm happy to say that I'm currently sat in a house with solar and storage, and I'm producing more electricity than I'm using right now. My battery's recharging as I speak.
We need some.
That is incredible. And maybe if you could just give us a quick overview of Sun Exchange, and then also, like, I know you have worked literally with, I think, over 50 organizations, but half of those have been schools. So if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself and why the focus on education.
Yes, I mean, I've been involved with the solar industry since 2007. My academic background was actually in climate change science. So that's how I got into solar energy in the first place. I got there through, we need to get solar installed. It's the easiest and quickest way of decarbonising. Electricity use is the #1 cause of CO2 emissions. And schools are the obvious place to start because schools predominantly are, of any organisation, are the least likely to have capital available to deploy into a very expensive piece of hardware when they're in the business of educating, not of producing electricity. And then, as Mr. Price has just alluded to, like the educational benefits and the additional social and behavioural benefits and attitudinal shifts of a result of people seeing solar working in an educational environment is so befitting.
And maybe I think a big thing, and I think Stephen kind of hinted at it in his session, but what are the real benefits for schools? So if a school is out there listening, what are the benefits? How does it work in that kind of education sector?
So, I mean, firstly, the benefits are the school doesn't need to put any money down. They literally are signing on an additional supplementary electricity provider where the rates are lower cost than they otherwise would pay in. And in doing so, they're making CO2 reductions, considerable CO2 reductions, which if they continue to rely on coal electricity, not only are they furthering the issues of Eskom's grid, but you're also creating pollution elsewhere in the country and global pollution, which you may not even be aware of. So by switching to solar, you're very much making a stand to say, no, we know there are better ways of producing power. And we've done it, and it's on the roof of our school. Anyone passing by the school can see, oh look, that school has gone solar. So it's a good marketing thing as well.
I wish you could install solar here. But next thing, obstacles schools face. Can you give us some of the common obstacles?
So I mean, often when you come to making decisions at board level, you can have a lot of people involved, and some people have strong opinions on certain matters, but it is an educational thing. We are happy to come in and talk to a board and run through anyone's questions, because there's not a question we've not heard before when it comes to going solar through our platform. So it's good to be able to put some sort of preconceived ideas to bed, especially when it comes to things like how effective is solar and will it be becoming cheaper in the future and things like that. So it's important for people to all get on the same page so that the decision can be made, saying, oh, actually, this is a very low risk way of going solar, and we're here to answer those questions. So I think that's probably the main obstacle is getting it through the decision making process. I hope that answers that. Yeah, I think more is actually the time it takes to often then navigate the municipal system. So some municipalities are easier to deal with than others. So City of Cape Town is fantastic. Like they literally have it go down to a fine art of registering systems. Some areas in the country don't even have a process yet to register a solar power plant. So depending on where your school is, it may or may not be easier to go solar.
Abe, just another question. Is solar the golden bullet for when it comes to load shedding? Does it kind of keep you safe? You know, how does it work when it comes to load shedding?
So
also, while you're answering that, for all the schools out there, would love to know, are you using solar? If you are, please just ping yes or no in the chat bar. We'd love to know who is, who isn't. But yes, Abe, sorry, back to load shedding, and is this going to solve load shedding?
So the golden bullet is solar and storage combined. It's misunderstood often that solar means you're going off grid, and there's a misunderstanding of what the term off grid actually means. Having solar on your roof of a school without battery is what's called a grid tied solar plant. And when the grid goes down, so does your solar plant, i.e. solar energy does not produce power when the grid's not available. Once you have a storage system in place, then you can start to harvest energy into that battery system. And then you can start to even charge that battery using solar during load shedding, like just what's happening in my home right now. So I mean, solar and storage is really the solution. Now, the storage element is very expensive, disproportionately higher than the solar element now. So it's important when you are sizing a battery system for your property or for your school, that you size it very appropriately for your absolute critical loads, like your administrative staff's computers are kept on, or maybe your science lab if you have one. The actual absolute bare minimum of what you need to keep running with electricity is what you should opt to look to get back up on your battery. Now, fortunately, through Sun Exchange, we can also supply storage systems, so you don't need to front again the capital to get storage, and we will do all those tests and checks to make sure that the battery system being sized for your school is appropriate and economically viable.
All right, Abe, sadly we're running out of time, so I've got two last questions for you. What schools are you working with? Because I think that's an important thing for our schools that are watching to know that when it comes to schools, you're actually an expert.
Well, I think we're solar powering now at well over 20 schools, and that's just in what I've done in South Africa. In the UK, I've solared many other schools as well. We've been working solar powering schools since 2008. I mean, rather than me sit here and list schools, you can visit our website at sunexchange.com, go to our solar projects page, and you can just navigate down and look at all the different organizations we're powering. Not only can you see what we're powering, you can see how much electricity we're producing for those schools and how much electricity we've produced against forecasts. So you can actually validate the numbers that we're doing. And some projects even log on to a live portal.
That's amazing. Just on that, if you would like Abe and his team just to have that initial conversation with you around solar, or maybe you have solar, but you're going, wait a second, maybe we don't have everything in place or there's more, please, on the poll, we've set up a poll. Are you needing advice on implementing solar in your school? Can Sun Exchange assist you? If you click yes, it allows us to ask Abe and his team to contact you. So please pop on and do that. Otherwise, Abe, I know they can connect with you on your exhibitor profile on the platform. How else should schools contact you?
You can just contact us through our website. There's a contact us page. There's a Go Solar option on our website, so you can, I think, if you navigate to the bottom of our homepage, be able to see a button. Very simply and easily takes you to be able to register a potential project with us. You can even tweet us. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. You can. I think Mishka, one of our team. We are on Instagram. We're on Instagram. We're on Telegram, and we're on LinkedIn. So we're on all the. You will not be able to not find us.
All right, Abe, thank you so much. I think that was amazing. I think schools, if you're not doing solar, this is one way you can do solar and not really have to pay for everything, which just sounds incredible to me. It's too good to be true, but we have checked it with schools, and it is true. So please connect with Abe. Thank you, Abe. We're now going to drop.
Just point out the magic ingredient is the sun. If it wasn't for the sun, this couldn't be happening. That's the missing link.
The video of creation.
Yeah. And luckily we are here in sunny South Africa, so we've got the sun. All right.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Education. All right. We're going to invite our next set of speakers, Catherine and Nicole, on stage. But while we're doing that, I have a 500 Rand Take a Lot gift voucher to give away. Yes. So we want to make this a bit interactive and fun. If you had a 500 Rand Take a Lot voucher, what would you spend it on? So please be honest. So in the chat bar, if you want to go and say what you would buy it on. When the ladies here are finished chatting, we will draw whatever we think is the best one to win that. So please chat away. All right, so that is from One Connect. So thank you to One Connect. Put it in. We see the first ones are coming through. Cool. All right, I'm going to quickly intro. We've got Catherine Pike on stage from Rustenburg. And we've also got Nicole, who's from CAMI. She is a Google EdTech certified teacher, and on top of that, actually is just recently finished working at Rustenburg. So this is also pretty much to teachers sharing. So I'm going to hand over to you, ladies, and then at the end, I'm going to jump on and ask some last questions.
Greetings, everyone. I hope you can hear us, and thank you so much for joining and watching this session. It is wonderful to be here today, and we just want to say a huge thank you to Schoolscape for this incredible school collaboration with School Solutions. And it's great to be here at Rustenburg with my wonderful former colleagues. And I really appreciate Rustenburg letting us use their fancy new podcast equipment. Quite daunting. I feel like I'm about to fly an airplane or something. But I also want to say especially a huge thank you to the wonderful dear colleague of mine, Kat Pike, for sharing with us some really personal stories about using CAMI in the classrooms here. Kat, why don't you just quickly give us a little bit of background as to Rustenburg and you driving technology infusion in every classroom as head of IT here, and how did CAMI fit into that vision?
Wow, what a welcome. Hello, everyone, to the Schoolscape team that are here and everyone joining. Just let me tell you a little bit about our story. So we are a junior school. We actually are right next to UCT in Rondebosch, Cape Town.
Just have the next slide, please.
And yes, as Nicole said, and thank you, so lovely to be here with Nicole again. We are really excited about our responsibility to educate our girls through their future, and which definitely and absolutely includes giving them meaningful opportunities to definitely work flexibly with technology. And so over a number of years, we've moved away from the idea that students only use computers within their former computer lab or IT lab. We are a government school, and so we are not a one-to-one school. For those of you who might not know, that's where we do not have devices for each of our students. We actually operate currently with 2 banks of Chromebooks that can be booked by our classes. And so the teachers can actually start integrating technology into their classes and really put a more regular and more meaningful spin using that in their content lessons. So a tool that has really positively impacted really our authentic, purposeful use of technology in our classrooms is definitely CAMI. And this is a tool that I have definitely used. I'm actually in the computer room teaching grade 1 to 7, and I've seen it being used. And for me, lots of Rustenburg classrooms are now starting to onboard using CAMI, and I'm just actually excited to be here today to share some of the real life personal stories and experiences using CAMI with you.
Thank you so much. So for those of you who don't yet know CAMI is a digital platform that allows you to open up just about any content that you wish to use with your class. From any device, you can open up your content, whether it is a Google Doc, Google Slides, an image, a curriculum resource, even a handwritten page, and you're able to interact with the content interactively, dynamically, with a set of empowering supportive tools that are super easy to use right on the pages. So you're able to look up words with a dictionary tool, you're able to mark up text with a highlighter tool, you're able to strike through, you're able to draw on your page or handwrite on your page. We have 4 comment features that you can use under the side of your work. That's audio comment, text comment, you can even speak out your text comments, and we have video comments and screen capture right in your content pages. And so CAMI is already used in 90% of American schools. And in fact, the CAMI community is now over 32 million teachers and students all over the globe using and loving CAMI. But what excites us so much is that we're now able to really introduce widely CAMI to our local schools in South Africa. And you still might not know from what we've just introduced what it is that we're talking about, let's take a quick look, sit back and relax and have a look at a short intro video to what is Kami. We're just going to need the sound with that video, please.
Annika, you need to unmute yourself for the audio to play. You'd like to do that?
And nurtures collaboration.
We're going to restart that sound. Thanks so much.
Every day, teachers do incredible things, but juggling excellent teaching with managing assignments, tech troubles, and catering to every student's individual needs can become overwhelming. So we wondered how we could help. What if we could reimagine the digital learning environment by providing you with an all-in-one tool that unlocks potential, ignites creativity, and nurtures collaboration? Welcome to Kami. Upload any learning resource into Kami and share it with your students to create an interactive canvas ready for expression, analysis, and discussion. Kami fully integrates the programs you already use to power a seamless assignment management workflow, allowing you to create, assign, give feedback, grade, and whiteboard all within Kami. Empower students at every level with powerful and versatile tools to complete work their way, unlocking potential at every stage of their learning journey. Watch your students progress and provide feedback and encouragement at any time to drive engagement and improve learning outcomes. In class, remote, or a bit of both, online or offline, Kami will keep you teaching and learning wherever you may be. And as an all-in-one tool, you can spend less time learning a million new ones and more time with your students. Join millions of educators and transform your classroom today.
Thanks, Annika. So I'd love to just ask Kath to describe a little bit about how Rustenburg rolled out Kami usage.
Yes, sure. So when we discovered Kami, we had already established Google Classroom habits. So it was really ideal that we found Kami worked and integrated right into Google Classroom. So when we decided to implement Kami, we found it helpful to give each class really an initial Kami experience in the computer lessons with me. So we really got those component skills out of the way, and it was really about showing them where the menu was, what tools they could use, how to turn in their work. And we worked with the teachers to pick some current content so that each class were really utilizing the tool effectively, but really in a very simple, basic Kami lesson. What was also super helpful was the bank of templates that Kami have available. So teachers could play with those templates and use Kami for the first time too. And once each student had really worked in Kami in their computer lesson, I really got the feel that they felt a lot more confident, and I think the teachers were also then happy to use Kami with their classes and within their lessons, so that the focus wasn't really on the technical aspects, but the students were already engaged and really already knew most of the tools and really enjoyed using them.
That's so awesome. I mean, it really is important for tools to come at the right timing and to be supportive and easy for teachers to use. In fact, over the last couple of years, teachers have had a huge learning growth in terms of implementing technology, both by means of necessity and also of interest. But teachers don't really want to feel like they are being hit with a new EdTech tool every day. It can be totally overwhelming. Sure, sometimes you change what you're using depending on what you're doing in your classroom, but what teachers love and what students love is that Kami is a whole school all-in-one solution. And so it's for the long haul. You can start with your grade R's right up to your grade 12, and you can use it for any subject and for any learning area. So it really is that tool that you can open up and you can have everything that you could possibly want to do with your content in one tab ready for you to use. Plus, teachers really love that when they're grading in Cami, they're able to give live feed forward, as we like to call it, while the learning is going on, as well as easily and efficiently give feedback when things are turned in. So Kath, I'm really excited to hear some of your personal stories. It's so exciting what's been going on at Rustenburg.
So I must first say thank you to some of my staff that have been using it. I've really curated from the experiences as well as my own. So a big shout out to the Rustenburg staff. Thank you so much. Well, one of the things I wanted to share was our grade sixes. Last year, they did a book snaps assessment using the Cami tool, and students were really engaging with their novel, their set work at the time, and actively sort of interacting with extracts from the novel. And so Cami allowed them to, or gave them the opportunities rather, for differentiated learning. And it was great for the students because they could really choose how to show what they knew. So, I mean, for one task alone, they were using the dictionary tool if they needed to look up words. They were using the read aloud tool. They were using the text highlighter, the box highlighter. They could speak their thoughts out using the voice comments or the voice type text comment. And as always, they always love to use the media tool and add in all their media and their stickers and all the rest to really just bring their assessment to life. But you really got a real personal view of how they engaged with that assessment.
That sounds like it was such a fun and useful assessment. And I'm glad that they enjoyed using all the tools. And teachers would be glad to know, I must point out, that you can control the features too. So you can actually assign specific tools for a particular task. They don't always need to have all the tools at their disposal, but they are possible for them to use. Kath, would you mind telling us a little bit, how did the grade 6 teachers share that task with their students, and how did the students go about submitting it when they'd completed the work?
Absolutely. So this was a integrated lesson between the teacher and myself, actually. And so we used the Cami assignment button in Google Classroom. So the girls already navigated the Google Classroom well, so it made the posting of assignments and the turning in of assignments just as it was and what they were used to. Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Another classic Cami moment was, and I must just share it, Rustenburg was, so we've got an overarching teaching goal, and that is where we are actually tackling the balanced learning language approach. And so I must just share with you something that happened in our grade 3 classes. So we gave our grade 3s an opportunity to do a paired writing task. And so our grade 3s combined English and life skills, I think it was, to work and create a story. And it was so effective for the students to then use Cami, particularly the voice typing tool, which they literally take turns speaking out their sentences into text boxes, and these sentences would just magically arrive in the Cami page, and the computer had typed them. And it really took the sting out of the paired writing task, particularly for our learners whose first language is not English. But it gave them the freedom just to express themselves and for their ideas to flow. And so that also empowered them, and they felt less embarrassed, and I think they enjoyed the written task a lot more. And so as a team, I think, you know, even the computer written text and looking at it afterwards, they were then able to punctuate it together and work on that as the next phase of it. And it was really just lovely to see them collaboratively building that story.
That sounds like it was really a task that was empowered so much. I love that Cami's tools empower your students so that their creativity can flow. We can really move beyond into that augmentation layer of the SAMR model. And, you know, Cami is a company
Ladies,
that...
sorry to interrupt, just so you are aware, you've got 2 minutes left for your whole session in total.
Okay, thanks, Pete. We'll try and wrap up super quickly. So do keep sharing with us, because you'll notice that after your assessment, we actually also have enabled the read aloud tool to speak out the text inside a text box, as well as reading out text on the page. So it's constantly a product that's being developed for teaching and learning. But not just teaching and learning, Kath. Let's quickly hear your last story.
Yes, time's not on my side. But the last example I do want to just share with you is that Cami is also fantastic for administration. So you might know too well that all the effort that goes into providing school certificates at the end of the year. And it might surprise you to know that a lifesaver was Cami for us. So it was super quick and easy for us to work with our certificate template in Cami, fill out names, citations, and the great tool was that we could add our signatures, our digital signatures. And of course, you know, with COVID and some of our teachers being sick, it was a great way for us to be able to share that certificate from any location and really have that ready and signed digitally.
Amazing. I'm so glad that Cami was able to bridge that gap and make it possible. Whether you're learning with everyone in your class, a bit of both, or you're having to be remote, Cami is that solution that can help you in all instances. So thank you. Because we're pushed for time, I'm just going to encourage, if you haven't had a chance to post your questions in the chat, just to reach out to me at nicole@camiapp.com, and I can support you in your schools. If you would like to have a try of Cami, we really are here to help the process and to make it fun for you and your learners to get involved in what Cami can do to empower and support and engage your students. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Ladies, you've been absolutely awesome. We've actually made it slightly simpler for you. If you jump into the poll, which is on the right of your screen, and it just says, would you like Nicole from Cami to do a free Cami demo with you or send you more information? If you just click yes, she will send you all the information you need. And what I love about it is Nicole is an ex-teacher, so she knows what you're going through. Also, they made me go on to Cami to get all the notes for their session, etc. And it was so much fun. So it just looks... It's really cool. So, ladies, sadly, I have to drop you off there, but it looked like we could have left you talking for another 20 minutes. And Catherine, thank you. We appreciate it. Once again, this is about real schools showing the real solutions they use and recommend. So that is straight from Catherine and from Nicole. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. All right, it is my opportunity now to give away a 500 Rand Take-A-Lot voucher from OneConnect. So a big thank you to OneConnect. I looked at the comments and I have to admit, when I saw this one, I was like, all right, we got to do it. So Khadija said, you said, please be honest. Honest, I will buy a sensory swing for my autistic son that I've been eyeing on Take-A-Lot. And I just think, we'd love to help and give you that Take-A-Lot 500 Rand voucher so that you can get that swing. It sounds like a really good cause. I know there were lots of other great causes, including some chocolate and things like that. But I think in this case, we are going to go for that one. So well done, Khadija. That is amazing. All right. While we bring in on our next speakers, we're going to go camera left so I can show you my cool branded shoes. Oh, wrong side. Sorry. Boom. I lost the impact there. So we're going to give away a shoe like this. The cool thing is there are lady cuts as well. So these are from Volkswagen. We're going to give away one at the end. Volkswagen is now doing school shoes. So they gave us a whole pile of shoes for a bit of fun. So if you'd like a branded shoe, please stay on to the end. It's going to be really cool. Okay. Next up, we are into our last session for today, and then we've got the prize giving. So we've got shoes, we've got some more laptop bags, some other gifts to give away, some pluckies. But now we're going to be jumping into a session on coding and robotics, but sorry, I should say on solutions real schools are using from Too Simple. And the interesting thing is what I love about it is Too Simple said, listen, please rather bring real teachers on stage and let them talk rather than us talking, because we want other schools to hear what they have to say in an unbiased way. So I thought that was really cool. So first up, we are going to invite Charmaine Naude, who's the department head for ICT. So she's going to be coming on from Bryandale. Charmaine, are you there? There you are. You are on. We can't hear you at the moment. Charmaine, if you mute and unmute, we can't hear you. Still no sound. Is it just me? No. All All right, I think we've lost Charmaine. So what I'm going to do is ask if possible for Jen to come on stage, and then we'll pick up on Charmaine. It seems to be one of those gremlin days for us today. The sound went, this went, that went. Let's check if we can hear Jen. Jen, can you hear us? Please say yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, and we can hear you. Okay, so what's pretty cool is Jen is beaming in straight from the UK. So what we wanted to do is have 1 or 2 international speakers to find out what international schools are using. And Jen is also using the Too Simple solution, and she wanted to share about it. So Jen, thank you so much for joining us from the UK. We really, really appreciate it. It's always cool just for us to connect with international teachers. So I'm going to hand over to you to share about the solution you're going to talk about.
Fab, thanks very much. So I'm going to have a quick chat about Purple Mash. Purple Mash is a solution for schools. It allows so many things. It's creative tool bank really of lots of different tools that you can use in the classroom with the children. I would definitely recommend, if you haven't seen Purple Mash, go online, take a look. It's a fantastic product. And I'm just going to introduce how I actually use that within my school. So if I just give you a brief idea of the school that I work in, it's a 3-form entry school, so we have 3 classes in each year group. Over in the UK, we're near Liverpool, and we have 600 pupils within school. So we're quite a big primary school. For me personally, I've worked in EdTech since I was about 16. I started to work for a small company called Computer Kids, which was like a after-school technology club for children. After that, I did my degree, moved on to teacher training. I've been teaching now for 17 years and always in the EdTech field. So I've used lots of different products within schools. I've been advisory teacher for my local authority, working with about 50 schools to actually encourage them to use technology. I've actually completed a master's in ICT and education. So really have seen kind of the scope of technology in education. And I have to say, hand on heart, if I had to choose one paid tool for my children to use in the classroom across the whole school, from our smallest learners right up to our 11 children, actually, it would be Purple Mash. Hand on heart, couldn't think of anything else that I would choose for a school other than Purple Mash. It's engaging, it's good fun, it's intuitive. The children love it, the teachers love it. And there's lots of things that you can do within the software. We've actually considered the use of technology really in schools. When I started teaching, we had one computer in the corner of the classroom and all of the children had to like rotate throughout the week. And now we've gone one-to-one Chromebooks. So the difference in our infrastructure within school has been a massive change, but actually all the way along throughout our journey, we've been able to use Purple Mash within the classroom with the children. And I think you just need to be creative. There's lots of tools within there that you can use. So there's things like word processing, paint packages, animation packages, lots of things that are specifically for primary children. The layout is for primary children. It's fantastic. So 2 of the main considerations in our schools at the moment, possibly in lots of your schools too. The first one is budget. And I think the cost of Purple Mash per child is fantastic. It's amazing. When you whittle it down to what you actually pay per student, the value for money and all the different products that you actually get. There's word processing, there's animation, as I said, there's spreadsheet package. There's so much the children can do within Purple Mash when you actually work out the cost. I can't think of any other software that I would use to the extent we use Purple Mash that's available for any kind of similar price. Thinking about workload and kind of leveling up at the same time. So for me, for the staff to be able to use Purple Mash and reduce their workload, it gives them time in other areas to do other things. So not only does the software allow the children to level up with things like there's a typing tutor, so they can learn how to type and become quicker at getting their work out on the screen and become quicker at programming. They'll be quicker at actually getting their thoughts out onto the page. There's maths tools where they can actually do drill and practice, so they're answering maths questions and things like that. And that in itself is enabling the children to level up. They can access the software, they can do those activities at any point within the day, and they've become really good at logging in. And I think it's really important when you start to use things like Purple Mash that they can actually log in. Even our kind of 6-year-olds now can log in independently, and they have access to all of those different tools, which they can access as and when they need. It's either directed as a lesson, or the children can go and pick up their Chromebooks and actually do a piece of work on the Chromebook rather than in their book if that's preferred, which is again fantastic. But as part of the package, staff can set to-dos, which are kind of, they set the work for the children. So the children will have a list of tasks in their Purple Mash area. It might be to write a postcard, it could be to make an animation, and you can actually set those directly for the children. So it's instant access. As soon as they get onto their device, it's instant. They can log into Purple Mash, go into the area that they need to, and it is that instant kind of, they don't have to learn which places to go in, they don't have to open multiple things up, everything's within the piece of software, and they can just get straight on with their learning. And I think that time element is really important, because they can just go for it, they can just learn straight away. I think one of the things I love about Purple Mash is that the key skills are really easy to teach. So if you think about different pieces of software, when you go to save, the save is in all different places, so it can be tricky, especially for the younger learners, to actually save their work. And in Purple Mash, whether you're saving an animation or like a word processing, whatever you're saving, it always saves in the same place. It's the same look on every page, and the children can do that. They learn it quite quickly, and they can replicate that throughout the programme. I think there's lots of sharing opportunities in there as well. So we often get the children to save their work, and then there's opportunities to share the links or share things on our website. So we can actually share links on Twitter and get the parents involved. They can play on the games that the children have made. So today our foundation children have a little chicken, and they're making little clothes that the chicken will wear, and that the parents can actually drag the clothes onto the chicken with the children, and they can play those games at home with them. And I just think that kind of collaboration with the home and school is fantastic. A great tool for the piece, great tool within the software. There's also kind of lots of CPD opportunities for the staff. Although I'm quite confident with computing, I think lots of the teachers who aren't confident have taken Purple Mash on board, and they've actually just rolled with it. They can just use it. It's so user friendly, it's so intuitive that the teachers are just straight in there. And I know for some pieces of software it's taken a lot of training, but Purple Mash actually offers CPD opportunities online, so the teachers can log in and have Mash chats, which are kind of chats online, and talk to somebody about their issues. There's lots of things on YouTube that the teachers can watch, and it was really helpful within COVID. I think some of the tools, like there's a PDF annotator, we can put a PDF into the software and the children can write on it, and it's kind of a fantastic tool for children. You're right.
I'm sadly going to have to cut you off. What I love is just your passion for it, in the sense of that you can just talk about it. You can talk about the different value they've offered. And I think what it kind of excites me is that no matter where you are in the world, there's technology that we can use, like Purple Mash, from the UK to South Africa. So thank you so much for joining us today, straight from the UK. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks for being passionate about a product and for sharing with our South African teachers. Any last comment from your side before we try bring Charmaine back on?
I'll just say thank you very much for inviting me across, and I look forward to hearing from Charmaine. Thank you.
Cool. All right, Jane, thank you so much. We're going to bring Charmaine on now. While we're doing that, we're going to mix up this session now to make it a little bit more interactive. I'm going to check if my technical guys are ready. Let's see if they can flip side screen. No, yes, golly, they were quick. All right, so we were thinking of a way to give away these shoes to make it a little bit more interactive. So anytime a speaker running up until the end mentions any of the two simple products, so Purple Mash, Python and Pieces, or the name Too Simple. So it's Too Simple, Purple Mash, Python and Pieces. Every time they mention that word, the first person who goes yes or mentions what they said will go in. That includes me. So let's try a practice run. Charmaine, you can come on stage. So I'm going to say Too Simple. And in the chat bar, there we go. Lynn was first up. So you go into the draw. And then at the end, we're going to draw someone from the people who were first in. So every time someone says Too Simple, anyone? Yes, well done. We're getting there. You can stand a chance. Charmaine, are you on stage? All right, come on.
You can hear me now, but I'm not sure if you can see me.
Charmaine, we can't see you. The guys will prompt and ask you to turn on your video.
I'm doing that as we speak, and yeah, it won't allow me. It seems to be a host problem at the moment.
Okay. Dan, if you right-click, ask her to turn on video. Okay. Charmaine, I think, were you going to share a slide or just chat? You were just going to chat.
I was just going to chat with you guys.
Okay, so I think we're going to have to go old school on this. We're going to see if the guys can technically get you on. But I'm so sorry about this, everyone. But I think let me just drop video and we're going old school podcast, if you're all right with that. And hopefully we'll get your video on. So I'm going to drop off now and please start sharing, Charmaine, and let's see if we can get your video up and going.
Thank you. So I'm delighted to tell you guys about Purple Mash. For those of you who've been in education for a while, you'll be able to associate with this. You know, since the advent of the 21st century, schools have been scrambling to advance technology in their institutions, as we all realize that the world is rapidly evolving and that to prepare students for the changing demands of the workforce, education just simply had to embrace these 21st century learning skills. But alas, not all schools had the means to suddenly go and change their infrastructure. And that is where Purple Mash met Bryandale. Let me try and start my video while I'm doing that. A South African public school. So at first, Purple Mash enhanced and supported our curriculum, giving us innovative ways to augment STEAM subjects like science, technology, engineering, and so forth. But that's only where we started. With the incredible Purple Mash tools, teachers started using Purple Mash for reviewing skills in our core subjects in a playful way. And in essence, Purple Mash has effortlessly brought gamification into our curriculum while providing engaging content. And then COVID came along, and with it, online learning. And along with the bad, which I know you don't want to hear about, it brought with it something else, the potential to level the playing field in education between those who have and those who don't. You know, suddenly companies develop tools to bridge the problem of students who are unable to attend traditional classes, making it accessible to everyone. And with this as the breeding ground, it was time for us at Bryandale to introduce Purple Mash, the coding curriculum from grade 1 to grade 7, which was just amazing. With Purple Mash, we didn't need expensive e-learning and robotic centers to bring us in line with those schools who could offer it. Purple Mash assisted us in fully integrating the comprehensive coding curriculum at a very, very affordable premium. In fact, it might be worth mentioning that we also, at this point, subscribe to their affiliate company, Python and Pieces, which provides us with a more advanced coding program, which we teach to our grade 7s. And then came our next problem, which was it's probably the biggest challenge, to be honest, how do you find the teachers who are willing to break the mold of the traditional teacher? You know, that one that says you are renowned for being an expert in your field, and this had to change. And where do you find those people? You know, they had to change to become the facilitator of knowledge. And you may ask what Purple Mash has to do with that. Well, Purple Mash provided teachers with amazing teaching content. It was absolutely ready-made in PowerPoint presentation slides with professional images, well-explained information and concepts for every single lesson, for every grade, for an entire year. Now, with that, we got our teachers on board. And should you enter any of our e-learning centers at the moment, with any age group, literally from grade 1 up to grade 7, you'll be astounded by the healthy hum of activity, conversation, interaction, sharing of knowledge, and probably punctuated with the odd squeal of excitement as a child gets their Purple Mash challenge right. And for a change, children are in control of their own learning, and they are inspired. And the teachers, they're supported by this incredible program that provides embedded videos that shows the content. It provides support at the press of a button and extension exercises for those who work faster and need a bigger challenge. And let me explain quickly. Each learner signs in, they find their activity, like Jen explained to you, and the teacher shows the PowerPoint presentation, and then voila, they start off in a fully integrated, flipped classroom. Oh, there I am. Sorry, my video is going to come on now. So in this flipped classroom, the children work at their own pace. They can re-listen to videos. They get support from the program that tells them, that helps them and talks them through any of the struggles. And the teachers, without realizing it, suddenly started incorporating the much needed and coveted 21st century learning elements into their coding classes, because now they facilitate effective communication, the analysis and synthesis of problems. They design and they get the ability to correct their errors and adapt, which is ultimately the thing that will lead to an adult workforce that is trainable and adaptable and creative. And thus, and this is our goal, they become highly employable. Purple Mash makes this difference in our teaching and in our children's future. Purple Mash became the great equalizer for us. And I can only hope that more schools get this lovely opportunity from them. Thank you, Peter. That's all from me.
All right, I had to get my co-host in a hurry.
That's to me.
Charmaine, Charmaine, I'm so glad we could get your camera up and working at the end so that we could see you. Thank you. I just think, once again, I love it when there is a teacher that is actually passionate about something. So thanks for coming from Bryandale. Thanks for sharing. And I think that point at the end that you said, and while we're doing that, we're going to invite Megan on stage. You said, creating kind of learners that are going to be workforce ready. And I think it's so easy to forget that within education, like the role education plays in this country for developing future leaders is absolutely phenomenal. So all of the teachers out there, in those moments that you feel like you're having a hard day, please just remember that we are so appreciative of the groundwork that you are putting in. So thank you. All right, Megan, you are on, but you have a black screen. I don't know if you have something over your screen. I don't know if you have.
I don't. I was connected to the wrong camera. Sorry, there I am.
There we go.
Guys.
So, all right. It's just so cool seeing teachers passionate about a product or service. So, Megan, maybe just you take over. You share for a little bit. How do other teachers get this passionate about this product? If you could just share how people can connect with you and get more information.
Absolutely. Thanks, Peter. I actually just wanted to jump in and say a massive thank you to Jen and Charmaine for taking the time and effort to put together the chats that they did for us right now. We absolutely love to see such passion flow from our teachers, and it is just so inspiring. That is why we do what we do. And to hear how other teachers or how teachers all around the world are using Purple Mash, it just really warms our hearts and souls. And just motivates us to continue doing what we're doing. So, and then also just a big thank you to the whole entire Schoolscape team. You guys are amazing. You pulled off another wonderful event. So just a huge thank you from all of us here to Simple South Africa. And yeah, if you want more information, I think Tim is going to drop our Calendly link into the chat now. So if you'd like to book a meeting, just click on there and you can book a meeting. Chat to us more. Otherwise, pop into our booth. We're all in there at the moment. We're there to chat, take any questions, and contact you. Or you can email me at megan@toosimple.co.za.
That is cool. Megan, yeah, I think also there is a poll running. So if you're really confused, you can also click on the poll and the team from Too Simple. But yeah, if you want to meet a passionate team, it's the team from Too Simple. There's always a joy and a life in their step. And I know I can just see with the schools they deal with, they really go out of their way to help. So please do connect with them. I think what they are offering is like a fantastic product.
And an incredibly affordable product. I always have to mention that about Too Simple is that I think it's one of the products that most people could afford in their school. So yeah, please go check it out. No matter where kind of you fall in as a school, go take a look at Too Simple. Go play with it. I have done so in the past, and it's amazing. And yeah, they're an amazing support team on that side. I think Tim actually shared some links to go do some demos and play with. So,
but I'm sorry.
You scroll up to the yeses.
Right at the end, because every time we say Too Simple.
Okay, that was the last time. We're not going to say
mash.
We're not going like a child. Like you need a better teacher. So we're not going to say it again. And Tim, please post those links again in the background, and then yeah, go and test and play and enter the poll if you want to connect with them. And they can also, if you enter the poll, they can send you those demo links to go and take a look at as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it one more time, and then the competition is finished. Too Simple, got it in. The competition is finished officially now, so we're going to have to draw. But Megan, thank you for joining us. Once again, if you are Joburg based and you would like to see Megan and team in person, please come join us at Schoolscape Premier in Joburg. At the end, we will drop a link for you to register for that. We still have about 50 spaces left. Thanks so much, Megan.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
Cool. All right. Now it's the fun time to give away stuff. So we are gonna, let's see how good my team is on this side. Boom. Did they get it? No. Oh, finally I beat them. All right. So I think we're gonna draw a prize for that. We are also gonna draw a prize for a drone racing club, which sounds really exciting. And we've got one more Dell bag up for grabs. So first of all, we have a list here of the people who've been doing yeses. Ash, can I ask you just to put your finger on screen? This is going old school here. We are gonna draw, so close your eyes and point. All right.
There we go.
Okay, we have a winner, Nicole Simpson. You have just won yourself
Nicole.
A pair. Well, this is the guys.
That's the guys' ones.
I should
have bought mine today and I could have put them up here.
Yeah.
But they've got beautiful boots as well for ladies. So Nicole, you must enjoy those.
So Nicole, congrats. We will be in contact. There we go. Nicole says, yay, you got it. Okay, next up, and I think for some of you that are not attending this afternoon, some of you just this morning, we wanted to give away one really nice, big, chunky prize. And that is a drone racing club set up at your school. So
this is from Inspire Africa, and they're doing some incredible stuff in coding and robotics and that with drones. Super exciting, and the kids seem to go wild over it. So I have a 5-year-old, and when he saw the video of our past Schoolscape event, he was like, they were flying drones in the event. So the whole thing, all that was exciting to him was the drones. So I think it's going to be an amazing prize at anyone's school.
And before we give that away, we've got a pair of pluckies to give away.
The brand pluckies.
Yeah, the brand pluckies. So the first person that can mention yes or no for this question will win. So you either have to type yes or no. Does Volkswagen offer school shoes? Yes or no? Nadia, I feel like you said yes before the thing. You took a chance, but you got it right. So congratulations, Nadia. You've just won yourself a pair of pluckies from Volkswagen. So Nadia Buerta is the winner there. Okay, drone and racing club set up at your school. For that, what we want to do is the heart behind Schoolscape is to get schools to share and to discuss with each other. And that's really an intention. And in the beginning, Justin from Saheti just mentioned like WhatsApp groups and getting people on and sharing. So we want you to share. So part of that is we are going to draw a winner of a person that shared way back in the beginning. And because I wanted it to be an engaging comment and someone that I knew would find value. So I am just scrolling through.
Finding the comment.
No, not that one. Not, okay, here we go.
That's not a school.
Okay, all right. There we go. All right. Cool. So we've looked at an engaging comment that tied in with the session.
That was a school.
That was a school. And the proud winner of a a drone racing club set up at your school from Inspire Africa is Ilani Hropla.
So very well done, Ilani. I don't know what school you're from. You can maybe pop what school you're from in the comments. It'd be great to know. But we're going to connect you to Inspire Africa, and they're going to come and set up that drone racing club at your school soon.
All right. So well done to Ilani. You might have dropped off already because you were engaging right in the beginning. So thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and that...
from
Spark Lindach.
Lindach. No,
Lindach.
That's upside down.
Yeah, that's right here. Oh, cool.
Know what that says.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, we also have some other passport. We've got a passport competition. So if you jump onto the exhibitor booths and you go to 18 booths, look for solutions or companies that actually could have a solution for your school. Enter their kind of get more information. It's called deals and offers. Ask in the chat bar, say hello, talk to them, and like their stand. If you go to just only 18 stands, you stand a chance to win our grand prize. So we've got 100,000 Rand coding robotic solutions. We've got visualizer from Edgyboard. We've got a tablet from Toshiba. So there's some incredible like kind of tech prizes there for you in your school. So please go and do that. All right. And then I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is
the last thing we need to, before we forget this one, is that if you would like to redeem your SACE points from these 2 sessions that you've attended, we are going to email you after the session. Possibly my team member, Erica, is going to post it in the chat now. But we'll email you after the session to tell you how to redeem them. And that is through our SACE partner, Get SACE Points. So Get SACE Points will very kindly load the SACE Points and do everything necessary in the background for you to be accredited with those points. But we will send out an email to you after this that would give you the link to go and contact them or send your CPDT number through to them.
Yes, we need those details so we can get your SACE points allocated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is us done. For those of you who are joining our teacher track this afternoon, we look forward to seeing you there. For those of you that are not, thank you. We appreciate your time and we love what you do. So please keep doing what you're doing within the education sector. And I'm going to see if my team is on the ball. But it's wrong screen. Wrong screen. Let's see if they flip me across. Well done, guys. That's us. We love having fun. Thank you so much.